All right. I think we have the people joined in. We can get started now. Okay. Is there a question from the attendees? Could you please put it in the Q&A? I'm sorry, Deepak, do you have a question?
Yeah, now I can see I'm there. Earlier, I was not sure. I'm unable to kind of switch on my video and was not sure whether I'm able to speak or not. So
Yes, you don't need to. Yeah, thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think we can get started here since we are already at 12:04. And I'm going to start the recording here so people can have access to it. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining here. We had a really good RSVP, so I'm excited to see everyone present here, and you guys are excited about your career success. I'm going to share my screen here. I have Anil Monga with me, also from FocalPoint, and let me see. Anil, can you let me know if you're seeing my screen now? And which screen are you seeing? Do you see the Propel Career Success?
See you and me on the side. Yeah.
Okay, do you see this, the Propel Career Success as the slides?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I can see your picture and my picture on the side.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. This is a very fun presentation. Generally, a lot of people enjoy it. So let's get started here. I'm sure. So the agenda today, I have Anil Moga with me, who has quite a lot of experience in pharma biotech, about 25 plus years. So we'll hear his expert insights about the career success. And then next, I'll move on into how to seize 75% missed opportunities. That's why most of you are here. So thank you very much again for joining. Let's move on. Just a brief background here. Who is FocalPoint? FocalPoint was founded by Brian Tracy. If you don't know him, he has been around for, 40 plus years, but he has 30 plus years of proven strategies, and we have 4 million plus program graduates. Our programs have world-class content. Our programs are translated into 27 plus languages. I have people coming from South Africa, Italy, and you name it. Overall, I have access to 200 plus coaches across the globe, and we are business or career growth specialists. So this is our background here from FocalPoint perspective. And I'm very excited to have Anil here, right? Anil was my boss at Pfizer. I loved working with him, and he is now our chief advisor for FocalPoint Coaching of Lincolnshire. And you can see he has impressive number of over the years. 25 plus years, he has worked in top pharma companies like Pfizer, BMS, 35 plus years of extensive global experience. I don't even want to go into the continents here, but he was telling me he managed around like 600 plus staff people. They were like internal people, external, large projects, and 800 plus million overall total budgetary responsibility. He has worked with CIOs, CSOs, and VPs, you name it. So very excited to have Anil here. And I'm going to give a quick background about myself, but then we'll move on to talking with Anil for a few minutes and what his practical advice would be for career acceleration. And this is me. Some of you already know me. I'm Vibha Chawla. I'm the Chief Growth Partner or the business owner at FocalPoint Coaching of Lincolnshire. I have 20 plus years of experience in top biotech, skilled at strategy planning and overall operational performance. I joined FocalPoint primarily because of the culture, and I loved Brian Tracy stuff. So that was my major reason for joining. And why am I doing what am I doing? I thought I had quite a lot of struggle. Also, I reaching out a plateau in my corporate professional career. And for me, the biggest game changer was going through the disc and having a coach for myself that changed my life. So I want to make sure that all the other corporate professionals, they are succeeding and they don't have to suffer so much growing into their career. So your growth is my passion. So with this, I think we're going to move on to Anil. So Anil, the floor is yours, and we want to hear from you practical advice, right? I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so we can hear more from
So
Anil.
thanks for the introduction. You said more than I deserve it, but that's
Oh, no,
nice
no,
of
no.
you. Yes, Vibha and I have worked together for a long time. Both had BMS. She was also there when I was there, and then she worked with me at Pfizer for a long time. So Vibha asked me to say a couple of things, how I basically moved up or what should people do from career success point of view. Just for your information, I started my career as a programmer long time ago and then moved up into the management and had tremendous experience. And I can give you some guidance how you guys can move up if that's what you're looking for. I looked at some of your profiles or some of your names where you're working. It looks very impressive. Most of you had lots and lots of experience. Some probably things which I'm going to share or give you some advice. Probably most of you know that, so it may be just redundant, but sometimes it's good to hear from somebody else's perspective. So the most important thing is that, as I mentioned, that all of you have a lot of experience. You know, have technical skills, business experience, but the things where people miss the boat is on the soft skills. Soft skills, in my mind, from my personal point of view, are more important than your technical and business skills. Even though you know the business, but if you don't talk to people properly, you don't know how to manage the situation, it becomes an issue. So first thing I would say, you really need to know how to manage people up you and down you. It's always easy to manage people, those who are down, those who work for you, but sometimes it's very difficult to people manage your own boss. But your success really depends upon your boss. If you don't manage, some of the bosses are good, but a lot of times in my career, I have seen bosses are afraid of giving you the positive feedback. They don't tell you what you need to improve, what you have to do. They just want to meet with you on regular basis, whatever schedule you have, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, or whatever it is. Always they tell you good things about you, but they never tell you anything bad. But when the time comes for annual review or for promotion, then they basically spit out everything in the last minute, and you don't get any promotion. You don't end up going anywhere. So so it becomes a very difficult situation because you worked with your boss for a long time, but you don't know what was the issue. So I would say it's really your job. If you're not getting proper input from your boss, you really know how to manage your boss. And from my own experience, what I have seen, to manage your boss, there are three things which you should keep it in mind. One thing, every time when you meet, you should have agenda for the meeting. And you should ask your boss, both on the project point of view as well as personal point of view, the things which you are working, is that those things are okay? Is there anything you need to stop from your behavior point of view, your project point of view, or if you need to start a new project or stop? So first thing is that you to find out what you're working on. Does that make sense? He's in agreement with you. And things which he's not in agreement, you should stop. And you should also ask him things which you're working on it. If those are okay, then you should continue with it. So if you basically keep those three things in your mind, start, stop, and continue, it will help you to succeed. So main things, ask him what he likes, what he does not like, and what you should change. Once you know that, then at least you will be getting feedback on regular basis, which can help you in the long run when the time comes for your reviews in the year end, that he will basically, you and your boss will be on the same page, and it really help you to move up. So most of you probably know that, but sometimes you just forget to ask your boss, what you should change, what should continue, and that's the most important thing to move up in your career. I would say that that's what helped me in my life, and I would say those are the three things which you should try to use or work with your manager to basically get positive feedback or negative feedback, so that in the end there are no surprises on either side. The second point I would like to make is you should always work as a team. You should be a team player. Even though business is going good, projects are going all well, but there are a few things which you need to know. You should be a team player. You can never do any project or anything on your own. Everything really depends upon your team. And your success depends upon the success of your team. So you should really think who can fill in if you leave the job. How can you train people so that they are ready to take over your job? And if in any case you have to move up, you should have a backup, because most of the time issues comes up when they are ready to give you a promotion and say, oh well, I don't have anybody who can fill your shoes. So make sure your team is well prepared. You should think about the growth of your team. The growth of your team is very important. If you can grow your people who can take over your job, that's really going to help you to move up. The second thing I would say, you should collaborate with all levels, both with your manager upward, your team downward, and also your subordinates on the left and right, because you have to work as a team, and you should really know how to collaborate with all different levels, not only just with your team or with your boss, but on the other side with the peers and your subordinates and everything. So, collaboration skills are very important. The third thing is, I would say you should really know how to communicate, both written communication, verbal communication. It should be clear, and there should be no wishy-washy type of things in the communication. Just be honest with your team. If you like something, tell them. If you don't like something, tell them. Same thing with your boss. If you don't like what he said, talk to him on one-to-one basis, but don't say anything in the meetings. He will appreciate that and he will listen to you. And the last thing I would say, where people fail, they try to give you the feedback, but they don't listen to you. So listening skills are more important than basically giving feed with communication skills, collaboration, and all that. You should really listen to people, see what their concerns are, and don't draw any conclusions before knowing the facts. So if you do those kind of things, work as a team, that will really going to help you to move up in your organization. That was what has helped me quite a bit. I mean, I moved up quite a bit in my career, but those kind of things were the key points, where open communication, teamwork, collaboration, and listening skills, those are very important to me. So these are things which I just mentioned, and I'm sure all of you know those. Nothing is new, but I just thought it's just a good idea to go back and revisit some of those things. So any comments, questions?
Yeah, thank you very much, Anil. I think this is very helpful for me. I think this is the basis of our presentation today, as you covered how important are the team player skills, right? We could lose quite a lot of opportunities about adapting, meshing, and leading, and how does that impact losing those percent of opportunities. I don't want to say the number here, although we have said the number multiple times now. So yeah, that's
Then one comment I would like to make. I said enough, but there are times when you need somebody as a coach or a mentor who can help you to basically remind you from time to time if you're getting off track, or help you or what you should do. So coach or mentor is pretty important to have it. Either you can have it at work, or you can get it from outside, or you can have a person like Vibha, who is probably one of the excellent coaches which I have seen working with her. So you can use her skills, you can use her services, or you can have somebody from outside. But you need to have somebody who can remind you from time to time what you're doing is good, what you need to change. Okay, that's all what I want to say, Vibha. You go ahead and take it over from here.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Anil. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate having you here, since you have quite a lot of experience. So with this, I guess we're going to move on. If there are any questions, people can put it in the Q&A, but there will be quite a lot of polls here. And Anil, I'm gonna stop the video, and I know.
Okay,
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
thank you.
All right. So with this, I think this is gonna be again a lot of fun stuff here. And I'm gonna pull up the poll here. Although in my presentation, quite a lot of times we talked about what percent of opportunities are we losing? Okay. If you guys can enter, what percent of opportunities are you losing if you are communicating the same way with everyone? Okay, I think we're gonna end the poll here. And let me share the results. So I'm glad to see that you all have the same answer here, up to 75%. Not surprised because we had already mentioned that in the presentation. So thank you very much for paying attention. Let's get on to the next slide here. Okay, I think we already talked about it. If you are communicating the same way with everyone, you could be losing up to 75% of the opportunities. Like I mentioned, is that an exact number? No, but it's a pretty good generalization. And we could just end here. I mean, I could send you the DISC manual, but I think let's just have a little bit more fun here in the webinar. So let's move on to the next slide. Sharing. Okay. So with this, let's get into the real meat of the presentation here. So what is the secret here, right? Adapting your style to mesh, interact, and lead better with DISC. So there are about 35 million DISC assessments have been conducted worldwide. Have you completed yours? I'm going to launch the poll here. Have you completed your DISC assessment and debriefing? Okay. Okay, looks like few of you have, majority of you have not. What is DISC assessment? Yes, we will get to that. If you don't know what is DISC, that means you have not completed it. Okay, I'm going to share the results here. So 75% people have not done the DISC assessment so far. Okay, so what is DISC? It's a behavior assessment tool. It measures how a person does what they do. It also suggests tactics for improved effectiveness. What does DISC stand for? D is for dominance, I is for influence, steadiness, and compliance. It's a very, very critical tool. I think that changed my life quite a lot. And I still go back. I'm not going to say that I'm most effective in this yet. I am also still learning how to apply this DISC to different behavioral styles. So DISC is basically different communication style, and we'll be learning a little bit more what are the benefits of DISC. DISC actually helps you develop self-awareness. It improves your understanding of your own style and how you can adapt to other people's style. It maximizes your strength. It improves your customer service, increases productivity, overall enhanced communication. So you're changing your style to meet with other styles so you can mesh, interact, and lead better. So by understanding your strengths and flaws, you can make reasonable changes when you're dealing with like conflict, pressure, and overall tasks. So self-knowledge can support teams working together, their communication, overall teamwork, and that's how the DISC helps. And this is the first step we do, whether I'm working with a business owner or working with a professional. That is the first step we conduct. We conduct the DISC assessment and debriefing because it has been utilized in many, many places. We have a very strong system in DISC for sales, but we are not talking about sales here. That's kind of related to customer service too. So we call behaviors as superpower. Why do we talk about behaviors as superpower? What does that mean? The way we talk, the way we walk, it's more than just words. And when I refer to this as, I'm not sure if you guys are still seeing, I'm sorry, the poll results, I had it on my, sorry about that. So when I refer to these as superpowers, there are basically two disclaimers I want to make sure that they are clear. I don't think any one person is one dimensional, like they're not D, I, S, or C, but they are a combination of these things. But on purpose, we are going to oversimplify this. Why? So that you can understand this today and start to apply it right away, right? Instead of trying to get everything out of the session and trying to see how different DISC work and try to mix it up. We are just going to assume that every one person is one dimensional today, just so that you can understand it and start to apply it right away. And move on to the, so what is the problem here with behavior and communication? So we have people, right? Business would be easy if there were no people, but we have people, right? And everybody is different. They all think, act, behave, and communicate differently. They all think they're right. And sometimes it feels awkward. Either I feel awkward or client feel awkward. Maybe there are cases that my behavior is different than what they expect. We're all trying to do the right things, but sometimes there can be issues, right? Sometimes everything may just seem to not go well. And it might not be them, it might be me, or it might be us. We might have the best of intentions, and still we may not behave the way we expect. And sometimes it might be frustrating, and we might not feel understood, trying to do the things right, but we may not just click. So with this, I'm going to launch the poll here. How frequently do you find yourself not being understood, whether it's at work or at personal places? All right. So I have about 70% of the people say they sometimes don't feel understood, and 20% of the people sometimes, or most 20% of the people oftentimes feels understood, and 10% of the people rarely feel not understood. All right. Thank you very much for that feedback here. So moving on, right, the opportunity is that even sometimes we are not feeling like we are getting understood. It doesn't have to be this way, right? We can mesh, we can learn how other people behave, we can communicate and start to mesh together with them. We don't have to fit exactly the same way, right? But bringing the best results should not be that difficult. We can start to communicate with ways that they like. We can get our message out in a way that we are really feeling understood. Our message is not just heard, but it's understood. And as we get better, we are able to get more and more fluent with different situations, with different people. Example could be like speaking different languages. We can learn more tactics, right? It doesn't change who I am, but I could be a little bit more adaptive, a little bit more fluent in multiple situations, so that we can just put less effort in adapting, meshing, and leading better. So yeah, the big idea is if you get nothing else out of today, learn some Spanish. I mean, I don't mean it literally, sorry. What we mean by that is you can get some great results by learning few words if you go to Mexico and there are people that speak Spanish. It can make a huge difference learning few words. And some of the married people may tell you it's not what I say, not how I say it, but how am I getting heard? What did they really hear? If I said A, did they interpret B out of it? And why is it important? How am I heard? There's a poll there. Why is it important how people hear or understand you? Because they're making decisions. Yes. So they are making decisions emotionally, but they are justifying logically. So 30% of you said they're making decisions logically without any emotions. 70% said they're making decisions emotionally, but justifying logically. So that's the right answer. So yeah, so they are making decisions emotionally, but they are justifying logically. So it's very critical that we know what they have heard and what they have understood, because that's going to change quite a lot of things in our life, in our career, and in our professional life. So from the far away, as you can see, it looks like a diamond, but it's actually an iceberg. If we can start to understand what's above the waterline, we can start to extrapolate what's below the waterline. Same thing is for disk. If you can start to understand what's above the waterline, what is the observable behavior, you can start to extrapolate and see what is really being understood, what is really being heard, and how should really you be communicating. So learning and understanding how people's observable behavior can change quite a bit, that you'll be meshing and interacting with them. So DISC, basically it explains how we deal with challenges, that's the dominance, how we influence others for our point of view, how do we deal with pace of change, and how do we deal with rules or procedures. Are rules or procedures just a formality for us? Do we like to do things by rules, or rules are just guidance and suggestions? Do we like to do the things the same way? Why do we bother with this? This is primarily so that people can understand us or hear exactly what we are saying. So how do I word it? Do I have to make it fun? Do we need any high level details, or do I need to give all details? I might not be fluent. I can understand keywords, but I have a much better way of meshing with others if I can communicate in the way that they like to be communicated. So these are some of the things that we'll be covering in the next few slides here. And with this, what is a D? So D as in dominance, and like I said, that no one person is one dimensional, but just for this presentation, we're going to say that people are one dimensional so that you can get some value out of it. So high dominance people, they are very direct and competitive. They're results oriented, they're impatient, they have strong ego, but they're very confident, right? They're, like I said, they're extremely results oriented. They want to win among the competition. So the rules are merely formality for them. They don't abide by a lot of rules. So I am going to launch the poll here and choose yes if you think your communication style is high D. Or if it's not, then choose no. That is interesting. So 63%, so the poll is going on. Okay. And I may have to end it here. So 67% of the people said they are high D, and 33% are not high D. Okay. I'm going to move on to the next one here. So we will be working in a different style with high D. Sorry, I'm trying to go to the next. Okay. The next one is I, which is a high influencer. They are very optimistic, highly enthusiastic, emotional, personable, extremely friendly, and trusting. So they like to make everything fun. And if they're not having fun with you, they are probably not going to do work with you. So if you're in customer service, or if your manager is a high I, you need to make things fun, more personable, and make sure that emotions are taken care of before you address anything else. So if you're trying to write a contract with another company, or if your client is a high I, you will need to make things in a very friendly manner. So with this, I'm going to launch the poll here. Click yes if you think your communication style is high I, or no if it's not. Okay, that is quite interesting. I'm going to share the results here. So 33% of you said yes, they are high I, and 67% said they are not high I. Stop sharing here. Moving on to the next style here. What is a high S? They are calm and steady, highly patient, they are good listener, they are team player, they are all for working together, having harmony, and making sure other people are taken care of. And they're kind of like Mother Teresa. So I'm going to launch the poll here, and let me know if you think you're a high S. All right. Okay. Looks like 64% of you said that you are high S, and 30% said no, they're not high S. So thank you very much for entering this. And how do you work with high S? You basically have to make sure that whatever work you're doing with them, it's steady pace. It's not too much changes, and you're also making sure that all the other people are taken care of. So that's a high S here. And in terms of high C, they are very task oriented, they are perfectionist. There are a lot of details, right? And if they do anything, you will basically not find a lot of mistake. Again, you have to be slow and steady here too. You cannot bring too much changes. They're very sensitive, and a lot of details is what I would say is about C. And I'm going to open up the polls for high C here. So choose yes if you think you're a high C. Okay. Oh, wow. Looks like majority of you are saying you are high C. So 67% said they are high C, and 33% said they are not. Okay, that's great. So how do you work with high C? I remember preparing a presentation for a high C. It was like 100 pages report. It took 11 months to respond, while a high D was ready to take the project in 1 day, and they made decision very quickly, and I only had to prepare one-page report. So those are the differences. So as you can see here, you may have to change your style depending on who you're working with. So that's the way to adapt, mesh, and work better with others. And this has helped quite a lot to me in my own career and even in my own business. And it helps a lot with the sales and the customer service aspect of things as well. So these are some of the pictures people say that it helps them understand who these styles are. So Tiger Woods, very high D. If he has to go for lunch, what is he going to say? He's going to say, hey, I'm going to lunch. And Oprah, I. It's all about fun, right? They are working with people. They're like, let's go for lunch together. It'll be blast. So still not a lot of details here. And Mother Teresa, she's all about taking care of people. That's high S. She's going to ask, anyone else wants to go for lunch at 11:45? Can we get a table near the fireplace? And Bill Gates, extremely detailed, asking for a lot of details here and also making sure that when we get back, we can prepare our reports. So yeah, so basically high C, very rarely wrong. And if you are dealing with people or working with people internally, externally, you can have all different types of styles. And how do you work with them? How do you communicate in a way that you can really collaborate better with them? So these are some of the metrics. I think you may want to take a screenshot here, or I can send it out to you. But this metrics, I look at it almost every day to see, okay, what type of person I'm dealing with today. Is it a high D, high I, S, or C? It talks about how you can identify those characteristics. Up on the top, it talks about what you should do, what you should not do, etc. So this is very, very helpful metrics for me. If you're doing a disc assessment and debriefing, we can go in details about this. But D and C, they're all about task. They want task completed. S and I, they're all about people in general. And these two here, C and S, they're introvert. D and I are extrovert. So as you can see, different personalities, they want to be dealt differently. And how do you communicate with them? And even if you're going for job interviews, if you identify those characteristics, how do you change your style so that you can work better with those people that are interviewing you? And hopefully this is helpful for you. And maybe you can make a note of what is most helpful for you so far. With this, I'm going to run a quiz here so that we can see different tendencies. The first one we have here is a quiz. Who uses most logic? And you need to provide a lot of details. Okay, so majority of you, still have some answers coming in. Just have one more person left to answer. All right. So yeah, majority of you answered correctly. So the correct answer is C. So yes, they would require a lot of details, even though they may not say it, but they are expecting it. And if you do not provide enough details, the level of frustration may be high. And I'm going to stop sharing here, bringing back the next question. And I think we did not cover this in my slides here, but who is most loyal to your product, service, or employment? This is high D, high I, S, or C. Just have a few more people left. All right, looks like majority of you have answered here. So the correct answer here is S. Once they buy your product, service, or if you are with a manager, they are going to be most loyal to you. Or if you have an employee. So S is going to be the most loyal. Okay. Now moving on to the next question here. It's about the fast decision. Who will make fast decision if they can win among their competition? So even if you're interviewing, they are the fast decision makers. We have a few more people left to answer the poll. Okay, so majority of you answered it correctly. The correct answer is high D, will make fast decisions. But you need to show them that they can win among their competition. So if you're trying to influence high D, that is the way to work with them. Okay. So the last question here is about trust. Who will trust you quickly if they are not criticized? Yeah, remember S and C, they take their time to do things. All right, so I think majority of you got it correct. But high I is the one who will trust quickly if they are not criticized. So as you can see, different personality styles here and how you can adapt your own styles to theirs. So you can mesh, interact, and lead better. So these are summary of tendencies when you're interacting. So these were the type of questions I was asking at this time, right? In terms of logic, C uses the most logic. They need a lot of details. So I have to prepare a lot of presentations before they buy into my, but I understand that now after going through DISC for me, I started to spot those features and started to prepare presentations accordingly. And we talked about I trusting quickly if they are not criticized. And C is on the bottom part here. Quick decisions if you're trying to get someone to buy things or make a quick decisions. High D would make a quick decision. C would be the slowest decision maker. Sometimes they may take 11 months to buy something, while D may buy things in a day. In terms of loyalty, you will see a high S, C, and D is the least loyal. So yeah, these are different personality styles, communication styles, and you can learn and see how you can adapt your style so that you can work and collaborate well with them. Or if you are getting interviewed, you can start to spot those features and start to see how you should change your style to match their style. Are there any questions so far? I know we went very quickly on a lot of things. Okay. With this. All right. So D as the director, I as influencer. Hopefully these visuals will help you remember who these dominance, influence, supporter, and compliance are, and what the tendencies are, and how you can change your styles according to others, so that you can start to make use of those opportunities and don't lose those 75% opportunities. Okay. So with this, I would say that if you have one key takeaway action item from today, please make a note of it now. And if you want to put that in the Q&A, or you can make a note for yourself, but that is for you. Just want to make sure that you have one key action item from this and you learned enough so that you can start to change those opportunities for you and start to seize those 75% opportunities. Is there anyone who wants to give some feedback here on the presentation? Anything that you want to highlight or ask any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing here. Or let me see if I can bring it down. There is somebody who's raising their hands. Sorry, Deepak, you want to talk? Okay.
I hope you are able to see me.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes, we can see you. Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Vibha. This is very instrumental to understand who we are and to whom we are dealing with. In this journey, can you let us know how you will help us to move the obstacles we have in our career growth?
Yeah, so there are quite a lot of other programs, Deepak, for helping remove those obstacles. I would say that we start with clearing the focus, right? So this is where the DISC assessment and debriefing comes into the picture, right? So we start with this DISC assessment and debriefing, and basically help people understand their style and also go into a lot more details about other styles, so how they can change. So I know we touched the surface here. So removing obstacles, first we will start with this DISC assessment, then we'll go into the clarity program, and then there are other executive coaching leadership programs to make sure that you can achieve your goals and accelerate in your career. Does that make sense?
Yep, thank you. And I would really appreciate the way DISC assessment you have shared with us. It opened up my eyes where I was thinking where I should be and where I am, but the DISC assessment is discovering something else. So it's great, and thanks a lot for sharing this intuitive information for us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. Thank you very much. Yeah. So it is a game changer. It was a game changer for me as a first step, right? After that, I went into a lot of other things with my coach, but within 1.5 hours, yeah, you can discover quite a lot about yourself and adapt your style. Yeah. Thank you, Deepak. Is there anything else?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'm trying to see if, okay. All right. Moved on. Any other questions? I am seeing some of the comments here. Yeah, thank you very much. They said great presentation, nice contents. Thank you very much for the feedback. If there is any consultation you guys require, do let me know. I have put my email and phone number here. I do provide free consultation and one-to-one disc assessment and debriefing. It only takes 90 minutes, but you can get so much out of it. It can help you with your overall career acceleration. And it's also used when you're going into some interview process, in general networking, collaborating with external or internal partners, or you're selling something to other clients, or you're servicing them. It's a tremendous game changer. And there are quite a lot of details that I haven't covered today because just because of the timing. But I'll just show a small pilot here. This is what we cover as well in the disc debriefing. We go into the details of if you have a high D, how do you go into the do's, don'ts, what are the key characteristics, identifiers, etc. So this is just a icing on the cake here. Some of the items that we cover, but there is a lot more to it. So I just leave it at that. Are there any other questions here? Okay, if not, I think that's all I had for covering today. Thank you very much again for joining. If you want to conduct your own disc assessment and debriefing with me, it's about 90 minutes, 30 minutes of online assessment and 1 hour coaching session with me. So you can start to learn and adapt to other style. And it's $395 only for today. And my contact information is here. Thank you very much again for joining here. Really appreciate it. We'll be conducting more free webinars in the future. Do keep an eye on that. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.